Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a Monday night edition of Owlet Season 4. My name is Jungle God, and I am joined here with Mintus, and we are getting ready to watch a fantastic match between, let's see here, who do we have with us tonight? We have Volume 0 and, let's see here, DCR. So, two fantastic teams. Danger Close Red, how are you doing tonight, Mintus?
I am doing great, and I am very excited to see this match between Danger Close Red and Volume 0. Danger Close Red has been coming off of a hot streak, winning the last two matches. Going into this one, I'm expecting a pretty strong performance from them, whereas Volume 0 has lost their only match played so far. I believe they had a bye last week. And it'll be interesting to see how these two teams match up together.
Yes, it will. I'm curious to see if the team with just one game under their belt, if maybe that was just nerves, that very first game. Maybe we'll see them coming together a little bit more tonight. Now,
yeah, it was a 0-3 map loss for Volume 0, so they're looking to bounce back for sure this game.
Now, fun fact, Volume 0 actually cast a game Friday night with their coach, Zim82. I believe they have got a new head coach as well, so maybe we're going to see some some new approaches, maybe some improvement, maybe a few changes there as well. Now, looking forward, looks like I believe we've got a map pick already. Looks like we're going to be starting out on Lijiang Tower, one of my favorite maps. Anything you want to say about this, Amintus? Any strategies or team comps you think we might be seeing on this map?
Absolutely. There's going to be a huge variety of compositions played across all three of the points on this map. Expecting a lot of brawl on control center, some Pharah compositions, some aerial compositions, maybe dive on gardens, and night market. There's a huge window of variety that you can choose to play through on all three of these points, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not
Good
Volume 0
evening,
comes out with something
everybody,
different
and
with their new head coach.
welcome to a Monday night. Absolutely. Now, have you, let's see here, do you know if either team favors any specific kind of composition? I know we tend to see a lot of brawl, especially at this level, at this SR and ELO. Do you think we're going to be seeing, anything specific like that?
Xavier EXE has been known for their Winston play in the past, so it will be interesting to see if they decide to come out on dive on the map like this, for example, on Gardens, and it'll be really interesting to see what they roll out with.
Absolutely. You know what? I wonder, I imagine we might see some Pharah play here, too. This map is fantastic for boops. So Pharah, Wrecking Ball, Brig, Lucio's can be a big pick, especially if someone decides to go Rush, which it looks like we're seeing on the side of DCR.
Yeah, and Volume 0 picking up Rush as well. Looks like they're going to come out with the Sim Teleporter strategy to get out of spawn faster to reach the point first. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they actually keep the Symmetra, because teams in Overwatch League in particular have been maintaining the Symmetra pick out of spawn, trying to play it for that first fight advantage. If you can keep that Symmetra alive through your first fight, she does so much damage with the charged up beam, getting that wall online. Let's see who comes out on top first, though.
All right, and both teams are out of the gates. Yep, there we go. We've got a TP coming out from both sides. They're already brawling on point. Atomic swinging his hammer from Volume 0. They take out the Immortality. Both Immortality fields out, but they are already down. This is a big opportunity for both teams, and we're starting to see, the picks come through. Softcat picks up a headshot on Toxin, and Atomic, now the kills are just coming through for Volume 0, and it looks like DCR is going to be sent back packing to spawn, and they're going to come out with the first cap on Lijiang Tower here.
Danger Close Red was forced to use their lamp first in this engagement, and as a result, they had a bit of a weaker positioning post-lamp, whereas Volume 0 had the second lamp and was able to sort of back up and then re-engage with their May wall.
And now this is interesting too. We see Final Gambit making the switch to a Pharah, and actually Toxin as well. Toxin going over to an Ash.
Yeah, it looks like they're switching to more of a long-range type of burst damage composition where they can poke at a longer distance. They actually swapped a Mercy as well. Dayman going to be pocketing Final Gambit on that pick. Oh, nice head High Noon, though. Huge
High Noon picks off Final Gambit, and that's really big, although Dayman is right there to get the res out. And Tekio actually looks like it's getting swung the other way, because Tekio finds a pick on the main tank, which is huge. That means that front line is going to be really, really weak now for Volume 0. And Lamosky goes off the map. I didn't see how that happened, but that's 2 big picks right now. And it's interesting because DCR has decided to now rotate through to the other side of point, even though they've got those 2 picks. I hope that extra time is going to be worth it for him. We've got a Widow coming out for the side of Volume 0. Wake is tossing damage and heals through that window, keeping Volume 0, or sorry, keeping DCR at Bay now in White Room as well. Hopefully getting enough time for them to, oh my gosh, hopefully getting him enough time to come back and respawn, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like DCR is going to be oh no, sorry, it looks like Volume 0 is coming out on top here with, yeah, picks in every direction, and it's going to stay on their side.
Yeah, DCR swapping off of the Lucio for the rush composition, going into this sort of hybrid comp, is leaving their tanks out to dry, and they're not able to get nearly as much value as they normally would in this comp. They're relying a lot on their DPS, who just aren't performing right now, and Volume 0 is more than able to deal with them.
Softcat trying to get in another Deadeye, doesn't find anybody. Toxin, on the other hand, picks up a pick.
Oh, there goes Bob.
Lamosky. There's Bob. Bob's on point. Lamps out. Lamps down as well. Atomic gets a pick on his counterpart on Ryan on the other team. And now there's kills coming through for both sides. Damon gets a res on Xavier EXE. So now the main tank is back. This fight is getting really messy and dirty online. Atomic
the
trying
barrage.
to find the barrage, catches Atomic. He's not able to use his shatter, and that's really big. First point goes over to Volume 0.
Doesn't end up mattering in the end. Unfortunately for Danger Close Red, their Pharah Ashe comp does not end up working out for them. You know, it's interesting to see them decide to come out on that composition after losing the first fight, because, you know, in control points and in the control point game mode as a whole, if you swap your composition after you lose that first fight, you're going to come into the next few with a huge ult disadvantage, and you have to really rely on the neutral game to sort of build an advantage through your hero choices and through your rotations as well. But they were not able to do that, and the standard brawl composition ends up coming out on top here. Now, going into this map, we actually have both teams mirroring with this Junkrat symmetric composition, which is super focused on upfront bursts from the Junkrat and then sustained damage from your symmetric.
All right, both teams rolling out again. Looks like, let's see here, Xavier EXE with a Danger Close Red. They make the rotation a little bit faster. Early pick from Final Gambit on Softcat. That's going to be big. That is a whole lot of damage that's now not going into that Rhine Shield of Xavier EXE. So he's going to be able to push the Volume 0 team pretty hard. And it looks like, yeah, they're just going to, Danger Close Red is backed off. They're going to come back in for the recontest. Yep, coming back in for a recontest. Fights happening on point at this moment. Atomic going down to 33 HP. That was ridiculous. Awake has to pop the Immortality Field as well, trying to find a place to pop this window to get that extra damage in. It comes out, and Xavier, yeah, Atomic gets that Fire Strike through the window on Xavier EXE, and now Volume 0 is going to be pushed back. I'm sorry, kills coming in left and right now. Yeah, huge tire from Final Gambit. And it looks like the point is going to flip over, and we see Danger Close Red coming in with their first control.
Yeah, DCR gets a little bit of percentage off of that first fight win. A huge pick from Final Gambit, getting a ton of burst damage in that really tight space, but it doesn't end up happening at the right time. You know, the point wasn't unlocked yet, and then Volume 0 has to come in right as the point unlocked and ends up winning the fight overall.
Absolutely. We get another junk tire coming in. It's hanging out in the high ground. Let's see if he can drop it and find anybody.
Lamp is still there.
Lamp is still there. Doesn't get any kills. That's unfortunate.
Here comes the grab, though.
Grab, huge grab up top. Sim putting in so much damage into that Rhine Shield, bursting it down.
Oh, nice shatter.
Huge shatter comes in from Xavier EXE on the side of DCR. That was absolutely massive, and the rest of his team is there to just clean up the mess that's left on the ground. And we see Volume 0 going back to spawn.
DCR had a very clear game plan there. They wanted to force all those early resources with the tire, burst down that Rhine Shield over time with your sim, and then eventually set it all up for that nice shatter. Lamosky was forced to use his beat from Saucer's Graviton Surge, and as a result, they didn't have any defensive resources left for that absolutely huge shatter.
Now, this time we see the side of, let's see here, huge window coming through. Grab in now as well.
There it is.
No pitch
nice
coming
window to set it up too.
They did. They set it up fantastic. Junk Tire coming in as well. Catches one, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as Softcat is doing a whole lot of work. Although, nope, we're getting, the fight isn't over yet. As soon as I say something, it looks like it might swing both ways. Yeah, Softcat really doing a lot of work on that sim. Whew, there we go. And we get the point back going back over to Volume 0.
Volume 0 had a nice setup on their own Graviton Surge. They throw the window in, they throw the Rhine Shatter on top of it as well, but most importantly, it leaves Softcat alive to leave that Sim Beam charged up at full percentage, dealing damage throughout that entire fight. And it looks like Toxin opens up with his own Sim Wall here.
Yeah, and it also looks like DCR is coming in with a little bit of an ult advantage here, so we might see Volume 0 getting pushed back. Grab comes in, doesn't catch, I can't tell if it catches anybody behind that wall. Oh, nope, we get 2 picks from the side of DCR. Dayman goes down, though, because of Rogue. Xavier finds a picks, as does Final Gambit. And it looks like this point is going to slowly go over to the side of Volume 0. This is ending up to be a very, very even match in contrast to the last map that we saw.
Yeah, it looks like they've finally come online with their Brawl composition Danger Close Red has, and they're finally starting to show some prowess in the mirror here. Volume 0 is going for a bit of a longer rotation to try to avoid spam on the way in. Looks like they're trying to set up a good tire here. Let's see if that gets any value from Rogue.
And here comes the tire from Rogue. He's looking
for it.
Oh, the Immortality Field comes out. Paradox, she put that out fantastically best. And Tekio, she comes in with a big kill on the shatter. Oh my gosh! And Atomic cleans up Dayman, and that's a big pick. Although Xavier finds a pick now on Tekio, she goes down. Softcat is super high charge, just drilling into that shield of Reinhardt of Atomic on the other side. Xavier waiting to see if he can engage. Immortality Field out now on the side of DCR.
Well, giving a huge pick on a Rogue there.
Huge pick on Rogue. Gambit takes out his counterpart on the other team. That is a whole lot of damage now that they're going to be missing on that side. Atomic goes in for a charge, but he gets scooped. He misses the charge into the Graviton. Nice scoop there, Lamowski. Gotta hand it to you there.
Oh, they got off!
Whoa! They got off! We got a C9. There's a Charlie Niner, everybody. And, yeah, it looks like, Danger Close Red is gonna take that one. We got a match on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
I do not envy you in that fight. That one went on for what seems like 2 minutes, and so many ults being rotated back and forth on both teams, but DCR ends up getting a little bit luckier than Volume 0, and they just decide to step off the point on the other side, and they'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure DCR is not complaining. So we get to see the third map of Lijiang Tower, and this makes me happy because, like I said, this is probably my favorite match, and I love any chance I get to see it. All right, countdown coming to a close, and the gates are open. Both teams are out. Looks like we're seeing almost a mirror matchup. Just Softcat on that McCree versus Final Gambit on that on the Junkrat still. And really, really fast. Softcat comes in again to take out Dayman, and Xavier takes out the Immortality on the other side. Although Rogue finds that pick on Final Gambit. And at this point, Volume 0 is just setting up on point, and
yeah, they're able to spam through that doorway as the rest of the team is rotating through. They're going to have to group up and look for a recontest. I pay close attention to Toxin. They can get a nice teleporter onto the backside of points to sort of get free entry in if they choose to. Let's see if it comes out here.
All right, and they are staging right now at the front of the point. They're starting to move in.
There's the TP.
Yep, there's the TP. TP goes in, and it gets immediately destroyed. And unfortunately, Dayman goes down as well via Softcat. Softcat doing a whole lot of work. Tekio finds the kill on Final Gambit with the micro missiles. Rogue smacks Peridot in the face, and she goes back to spawn. And it looks like this is going to be a pretty fast and convincing fight on the side of Volume 0.
Yeah, Volume 0 read that teleporter play pretty much perfectly, but DCR did take a bit too long to try to set up that teleporter, telegraph that play very, very effectively. But coming into this next fight, I'm going to pay close attention to these tanks. Both of their ults are coming up online soon, and Xavier can turn the tide of this fight with a good shatter off of his own symbol.
Yeah, let's see if he can build it in time. All right, the fight's starting out again. We taking a look at Rogue. Rogue tossing in just some spam damage. Immortality Field comes out again early. We've got both windows from Symmetra, or both walls rather. But oh my gosh, yeah, the DPS of DCR is just doing too much work, and Volume 0 can't do anything about it.
It seemed like Volume Zero stacked all of their defensive resources on top of one another. They put in the Sim Wall, the Bap Lamp, the Lucio Beat, all at once, and as a result, the Grav coming out a little bit later from Saucer once both Sim Walls were down ends up resulting in a 1 fight for DCR. And they have a lot of room to sort of come back into this map with. They have to get all of this percentage back, but it's going to be possible if they can use these ults aggressively.
And we see a tire coming out from the side of DCR, doesn't find anybody, but it finds the Immortality Field, so that can be an opening for someone else on their team to make a play. Let's see if anything happens. Yep, Junk Tire goes out. Yeah, Tekio's looking for the bomb. Let's see if she can find it. And let's see here. Atomic slowly moving. Softcat comes out with the Deadeye.
High Noon is huge.
Doesn't catch
the
anything.
Shatter!
The Shatter takes out Atomic. And oh my god. But the picks are coming out even for both teams here. Nobody getting a clear advantage until now. Looks like Lamoski finds Dayman. Softcat finds Paradote. Saucer trying to make something happen on point for the side of DCR, but they're not going to be able to
trades. So many trades back and forth. The Toxin drops the Sim Wall onto the middle of the point to try to maintain the status quo here. They're going to try to get back onto this point. It's a little late, though, and Tekio's out of mech here, so they're at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, that is pretty big. We're going to have to see if she can do enough
damage
to get back into a big blizzard coming in. Tekio, she finds...
Oh my god!
What is this tire? Look at this from Final Gambit. Takes out the majority of Volume Zero. Oh my gosh! And that is yeah, that's a pretty convincing win right there.
Final Gambit's Junkrat is single-handedly winning, I'd say 50% of these fights for DCR. The amount of AoE damage and value that he's getting from his Riptire is insane! And looks like Volume Zero comes in with the beat and engage as well as the High Noon. Can he get any kills? Oh yes, he does.
Oh my gosh, Softcat comes back in with just about as big of an ult, just as effective. At least his Final Gambit says, yeah, you've got big plays, I've got them too. Whew! I tell you, this is coming down to the wire.
Yeah, this is a bit close here.
Yeah, 99 to 70, or almost 80%. It's going to be 85 by the time they get back to point. And we are now in final fight territory, I believe.
Awake needs to charge up this BAP window as quickly as possible to try to get a pick with a Fire Strike or High Noon or some amount of McCree damage through that window to try to get some numbers advantage before ults come online in this fight.
Seems like they're holding it pretty long. And very early. Saucer takes out Lamoski. That's going to be big. Awake, yep, pops the window. We see lots of healing and damage going in. Yep, but we see another tire though. Final Gambit. Final Gambit comes up big again with his Final Gambit. And takes out Atomic and Tekio. That's the tank line, and the rest of Volume Zero is going to fall. And yeah, looks like this one. Yeah, looks like this one is going to go to DCR. So DCR goes up 1-0 off of a pretty fantastic performance from Final Gambit and the rest of the team on Lijiang Tower. And yeah, speaking of Final Gambit, let's check out this play. I think we all know what it's going to be.
Yep, there it is.
Absolutely massive.
We do have to give a lot of credit to Final Gambit, of course. Nice performance of the Junkrat, especially those Riptires in particular, but the way that Danger Close Red managed to set him up for success with all the defensive resources as well as the supporting ultimates that they provided for him ended up making the difference for DCR against Volume Zero.
Absolutely. And I think we also have to call out the off tank there too for pulling in just a fantastic grab. And let's see be curious to see what map choice we see coming out from the side of Volume Zero this time.
Yeah, at the beginning of that map, it did seem like Volume Zero had a huge advantage in the brawl, but that might have been as a result of Danger Close Red's hero swaps in the middle of that first round. And maybe they try to take it away from a brawl-favored, brawl-centric map that we typically see that composition played. They could go for something like Blizzard World or something with a little more ceiling to work with for those aerial-type heroes. You know, Echo, Pharah, flanks for Tracer to play through. If they can go for a bit of a compositional swap and maybe take Danger Close Red out of their comfort zone, which it's very clear that they're good in, they might have a better chance here.
Do you think we might see a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar? Actually, is Watchpoint Gibraltar part of the map pool now that I think about it? I believe it is. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, honestly, no idea, but regardless of what map choice Volume Zero ends up going with here, I really do want to see how the DPS end up adapting their playstyle to match what Final Gambit is putting in here. Clearly, he's in his comfort zone in this Junkrat. However, you can very easily remove Junkrat from viability just through your hero choice and your map choice. So it's up to Volume Zero to decide what they want to change and how they're going to do it.
Paris has come up on our screen in the casting booth, but I know that that's not the right choice. So, sorry, that's just had to mention that because it was kind of funny. So now you mentioned they're going to have to they're going to have to try and find a way to neutralize Final Gambit. What kind of a DPS pick would you make in order to try and neutralize a Junkrat like that?
To be honest, there's a lot of different choices you can go with, and it can come from pretty much any role in the game. You can have your off-tank swap to something like a D.Va to help eat some of that AoE damage on rotations.
Mm-hmm.
You can have DPS that play at longer range, maybe something like a Widowmaker or some other kind of hit scan that can deal more direct burst damage and more consistent damage over time rather than Junkrat. Junkrat really thrives in these kind of chaotic, longer fights, and that seems to be what the status quo is for these Brawl compositions here. And now, I want to see Volume Zero try to rotate away from these comps and just try to bring it to something that's a little slower, a little more in their wheelhouse, and see if they can overcome what Danger Close Red is providing in the Brawl mirror here.
Now it looks like we do have a map pick coming in from the side of Volume Zero. It looks like we're going to be going to Route 66. Now, how do you think this affects how they're going to approach it? Do you think this is going to help neutralize Final Gambit on that Junkrat? Maybe get him off that comfort pick to someone else?
I'm not exactly sure, because with Route 66, you can still kind of get away with playing that Brawl composition if you're fast enough and if you take enough space on each fight. So I guess we're going to have to see what Volume Zero comes out on attack with here, because that's going to determine what Danger Close Reds ends up swapping to. And if Volume Zero ends up losing these first few fights here, they're not going to be able to make a compositional swap without giving up all that ult advantage that they would normally have. And as a result, you might see a situation where Volume Zero gets stuck in spawn or gets spawn camped on this Brawl composition if they're not able to overcome it. But you can make a lot of different hero choices that can overcome that type of close spawn hold. So let's see what both teams end up coming out on here.
Now, you mentioned a close spawn hold. I've been watching a lot of Overwatch League, and I've seen a whole lot of close spawn holds on Havana, right? When both teams are playing Rush. Do you think, is that the kind of thing you're thinking we might see here as well? Like just a hold right on the cart outside of spawn door?
Absolutely. With Mei, with Reinhardt, with Baptiste, you can sort of play these tighter angles and less open spaces, which, lends itself really well to right outside of the spawn door, right? And you can sort of just hold that same position, stay static, let the enemy team come into you, and then sort of wait for an unforced error before you start making your decisions. Maybe it's a bad lamp. Maybe they use a bad Mei wall, and then all of a sudden you have this huge resource advantage that you can very easily capital.
Now, it looks like we're seeing a Rush comp come out on the side of, I believe, let me just double check. Yeah, we're seeing a Rush comp coming out on the side of DCR. Very, very classic Rush comp. I think this is the definition of it right here.
Definitely the default Rush comp that we've seen a lot in Overwatch League. However, they're choosing not to play for a spawn hold and instead holding back on that bridge on big girls, which is safer against these long-range hit scans like Widowmaker. So this is a great adaptation from them, but they have to pull the trigger at some point and come directly into Volume Zero to stop this card progress.
All right, and speaking of card progress, we see that it's made it all the way up to the corner now. Volume Zero taking a little bit of damage, so much so that Wake has to pop the Immortality field. Both sides trading blows, but yeah, nothing too big happening. Although that is a big opportunity for DCR to move in with that Immortality down. Although it doesn't really look like they're making too much of it. They're just kind of calmly holding this corner right now, saying like, yeah, we're not going to let you go either. Although there was a big boot and Toxin that was able to take out Atomic, even though it looked like Xavier EXE got in a little bit of trouble there. Because of, I believe that was a boop from Lamosky trying to
Xavier, he's playing extremely aggressively, as you can see from his Shatter charge. He's about 15% ahead of Atomic right now. But Paradox, she's been able to maintain this position and not have to use Lamp yet, whereas Awake has been forced to use this Lamp on every single engage so far.
All right. Oh, and speaking of that window from Paradox, she gets it out. And that's going to mean, Xavier though is able to find a Fire Strike on Awake, presumably through that window from Paradox. So fantastic plays from them, and that's a quick and decisive fight win on the side of DCR.
Take a look at Rogue. they've been playing Widowmaker this entire map so far, and I've yet to see a headshot kill pop up in the kill feed. This Widow pick needs to start paying off in dividends soon, or we're going to be stuck at this corner for a while.
Right, and especially because the Widow, you know, Sights is an okay ult, but it's not.
Oh, that shatter is huge.
Oh my gosh, massive shatter comes in. And there we go. Now we're seeing Rogue in the kill feed. 1, 2, 3 shots from them.
Ooh, Saucer with the response. He gets 2!
He gets 2! He gets 2! Is that a remake kill on Tekio? She goes down.
Yeah, that remake buff is coming in handy there, but it's not enough to win the fight for DCR.
No,
going into this next fight, Volume 0 has managed to hold pretty much all of the ultimates in their kit, and so I want to see which one they decide to use first. They pop Walls and High Noon first.
Yeah, High Noon coming out, zoning off card. Doesn't look like he's probably going to catch anybody, but it buys him a little bit of time. Big Blizzard coming in, yeah. And it looks like Tekio gets D-Mech, but Tekio, she pops a bomb, doesn't catch anybody, but she gets it with the remix! She gets Dayman with the remix! And we see Rogue showing up in the feed too with a nice headshot onto Toxin, although Xavier's trying to make something happen right now, taking out his counterpart, Atomic on the Reinhardt. Window comes out now, on the side of Peridot, but Tekio's able to find Peridot despite the window. Softcat cleans up Final Gambit, Lamoski takes out Xavier, and it looks like we are going to get a point A cap right here for Volume 0 as the last few kills come in.
Hopefully Sager doesn't get another mech kill here. We got to be careful. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to point out that at the beginning of that fight, Volume 0 just had such a massive ult advantage that they could sort of just pop whatever they wanted to at the beginning and make sure that they could get a little bit more extra card progress. But DCR had to come back in and use their Mei ult and their beat, so they didn't have anything left in the tank to keep them going long enough. And as a result, Volume 0 ends up capping. And Rogue is in a really good position right now, really far back, and it's almost impossible to pressure. If they can get a pick here, it's pretty much free card progress. Oh, the shatter!
The shatter comes in! Oh my gosh, I can't believe this! Atomic's hammer just swinging away, catching everybody with that massive damage. And yeah, they win that fight in a pretty convincing manner. And I think they only used looks like
they popped the shatter and the window there.
It looks like they also popped the window in addition to the shatter, yeah. So well, pretty
Atomic has definitely been hearing me talking smack about this brawl. Oh, headshot while I'm in the middle of it. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic headshot again on from Rogue, but Final Gambit comes in and takes revenge for his teammate. Fight happening now on point. Xavier goes down to Tekio. She finds the main tank somehow, although she goes down to Softcat, although her mech gets Lamoski, and the kills coming in from either side. From both sides, rather, and this is just a nasty fight on point. But it looks like DCR is going to be able to hold on to this defense.
Volume 0 ends up backing out,
yeah. A lot of just madness happening on point there. But
Final Gambit making that toss with the Junkrat too. Look at that.
Yeah, Final Gambit coming out with the Junkrat, so that's back to that pick. Xavier here going to be looking for a shatter, although his shield is going down fast, as is his elf, and it looks like Atomic catches him. Yeah, the beat comes in for the side of Volume 0, and they're going to push hard, see if they can pick up some more kills. Atomic finds Final Gambit, so that's a big player out of the way. Both DPS are actually down now for the side of DCR, and this is going to be now a point B cap for Volume 0.
Atomic manages to swing his way to victory through the sustain provided by Lamoski's beat there, and as a result, Xavier never gets to activate that shatter ability, does not get to play the game, and it's pretty much just a clear fight win for Volume 0. Now going into this last point, it'll be interesting to see if Rogue stays on Widowmaker, because with this tighter sight line, and with less flanks to play with and less distance to play with, it's a little bit weaker, because you can be pressured by these characters like Tracer and Diva.
Yeah, almost gets a shot on Toxins, or gets a shot in on Toxins Diva, but doesn't find the kill. Sounds like we got a window out from the side of Peridot. She's trying to find some value. She's trying to keep her Rhine up, especially now actually she's helping to push now that Atomic went down and DCR is able to hold this defense.
Something I haven't been paying too much attention to this entire match so far is how much value Peridot's been getting on these windows. It seems like every single time something happens with that window, whether it's a fire strike kill or whether it forces a large amount of resources, but these windows from Peridot have been on point.
Yeah, they really have been, and that I think shows to the coordination as well of on the side of DCR. Yeah, big tire kill on Softcat. That's one DPS down, and a DPS with an ult as well. So that's gonna make it a whole lot harder for Volume Zero to push. And DCR is letting them know that that's the case. They gotta wait up for their teammate to come back. Now they've just got a minute left on the clock, but it looks like Volume Zero has built up an incredibly impressive set of ultimates here. We've got 6 coming online. High Noon comes out from Softcat. Softcat pops it early, doesn't find any value. Although they afterwards, Softcat finds the headshot on Toxin. That's
the bomb.
Well, bomb coming in. Doesn't catch anybody, although Awake is able to get, actually, the entire team of Volume Zero is able to take
Oh my gosh!
But Saucer comes in with another, was that? Yeah, it was a mech kill.
This guy is getting more value with his mech than anything else. When he's re-meching, he's got more final blows than he has out of it. This is incredible to see.
Yeah, we've really got to hand it to you. It looks like, yeah, you've really mastered that new tech. Speaking of bombs, got one coming out, but there's a beat in from Lamoski, which means Atomic's going to be able to push hard. Immortality comes out from the side of Paradox.
Nice shatter.
Massive shatter from Atomic, and the kills start coming in. Softcat, Atomic, and Rogue cleaning up Xavier EXE. Softcat trying to find a pick on Dayman, but Dayman gets away and gets the beat out as well. Can Softcat do anything through the High Noon? No, they can't. But Tekio is able to take out the Diva mech on the other side. We see Softcat again finding a headshot on Dayman. I tell you, Softcat has been finding some nasty headshots.
Toxin's on the flank?
Toxin's on the flank, and looks like DCR finds a pick on Awake, Softcat, and Atomic, so that is one member from each part of their lineup gone at this point. Final Gambit trying to make something happen now on this Mei, gets the freeze out. Tekio, she goes down, Ro goes down, and I think we're going to have a hold right here at the very end of point 3 for DCR.
Volume Zero came into that last fight, approaching 6 ultimates, and it doesn't seem like any of them were able to get value on that very last part of the push. And Toxin's flank came in huge there at the very end. You gotta look at that flank and wonder, how did nobody see that coming? He had to have come out of spawn well ahead of time. But in the chaos of that overtime fight, you know, people can just slip undetected into the backline, and as a result, Saucer able to get another mech kill and manage to turn the fight again. This guy has been on point with his mech calls.
It's been ridiculous. I've been amazed. Like at this point, like there was one that I don't think I even called out last time. It's just becoming a normal thing to see these mech kills.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, and it's interesting because at higher levels too, you tend to see Diva bombs not really getting much value other than from a zoning perspective. And so with this new change, it really it makes the game different. It really, really does.
Absolutely. It does change the dynamic of how you treat a Diva that's out of mech now, especially post-bomb. You know, we can start to see different types of Diva play with your ultimate, whether you're using it to remech on a cart, or whether you're using it to sort of open up a fight and engage, and then use your remech in the middle of the fight to try to slam it down on top of somebody that's squishy and insta-kill them. And clearly Saucer has got this figured out, and it'll be interesting to see if Tekio ends up picking up some of this tech as well. However, we're seeing both teams ending up, you know, not opting into this close spawn hold out of fear. Maybe they want to try to get as many fights as possible here without, you know, sacrificing too much ult advantage. So we're going to see another bit of a slower sort of engagement here, maybe near the corner again, maybe at the overhang at Big Earls, but this engagement spot is very important. You know, if Volume Zero chooses to wait this out as long as possible, they can start to make more space and more value with Rogue over time. These headshots can start to come in.
All right, and Rogue, speaking of headshots, looking to find one now, tries to plink Xavier EXE's head, but doesn't find anybody. DCR is getting that cart pushed to right under Earls now. I imagine we're probably going to see Volume Zero drop pretty soon. Toxin, again, kind of looking for a flank under Big Earls. Nothing really happening at the moment. Both teams just posturing. Saucer looking to try and dislodge Volume Zero from the high ground, but it doesn't really appear to matter, as Volume Zero is just letting him push the cart all the way around point. Immortality comes out from Awake. They're not even touching cart. And I'm not sure what Volume Zero, and now the kills are coming through from DCR. Saucer finds Rogue. Final Gambit finds Awake. And it looks like, even though Final Gambit's trying to make something happen on the side of Atomic's trying to make something happen on the side of Volume Zero, but it's just not going to be the case. DCR is going to take this first point, and I don't know if I missed something, but you know, maybe sure I caught something that mine didn't, Amintus, but it looked to me like Volume Zero just kind of let them have that point. It looks like they just got out-rotated and out-positioned.
Yeah, they were trying to wait for Rogue to get some value on Widowmaker, but because of the fact that he was stacked on top of his team, they didn't really have to worry about him flanking and getting headshots and having to deal with that. Instead, they just hold that shield in the same direction. No one ever touches cart, and DCR is getting free cart progress again.
Yeah, Volume Zero holding that high ground again, trying to see if they can make the space for Rogue to get a pick, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen. High Noon comes out from Softcat. No. Softcat finds Rogue, and so that's big. Or no, Toxin finds Rogue. Sorry about that. Softcat looking for their own Deadeye. Final Gambit on point. Goes into an ice block. Tosses the Blizzard out. Tekio coming in with the Diva Bomb. Doesn't find anybody. However, Saucers does. And Toxin is able to pick up a headshot on Tekio, taking her out of the fight. Saucer continuing to do work by finding a Wake. That's a lot of healing now that's not going to be on the side of Volume Zero. And a window a window that they could have used to maybe try and turn this fight. And
Saucer's out of his mech. We got to watch out for this on this next fight. But I want to point out something very important here as they roll in third point for free. Because of the fact that they're putting so many resources and so much time and energy into Rogue trying to get some headshots here, when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. Toxin was able to literally remove Rogue from that fight without any effort, literally just a Deadeye, which is typically something that doesn't get a lot of value in snipers. But there it did. And as a result, Volume Zero needs to figure out how to get back into this fight without a May.
Yeah, and Rogue, speaking of which, Rogue goes down very, very low again. I tell you, Volume Zero is really believing in them, so I hope Rogue starts to pop off. We see a window coming out. Shatter comes in. Softcat's able to take out the Immortality Field, but in the meantime, Xavier EXE finds his counterpart in Ryan, and it looks like Volume Zero is continuing to just kind of fall apart, and DCR is just able to keep walking this cart in.
DCR is holding this forward, a very forward aggressive position and getting the DMAC onto Tekio and eventually killing her. But they're low on ult, and this May ult is going to have to save them here.
Yeah, it is. High Noon comes out. Softcat catches Dayman, so that's big on the side of Volume Zero, and it looks like they're finally going to get something coming. Rogue makes the switch eventually over to the May, and I wonder if that's maybe immediately providing some value now. You know, is that part of the reason that we see Volume Zero finally stopping this card? I believe for the very first time.
I gotta agree. This May is actually putting in dividends helping out on that front line. And you know, the ult disadvantage from DCR is about to be mitigated by the fact that they can just come in again and they have 4 minutes to sort of build up this plan of attack and figure out what ultimates they want to use to cap this. But the fact that they already have two...
DCR, Saucer coming in with a big bomb. Nice. She finds the Wake. That's massive Paradote. She takes out Atomic. And even though Softcat finds Toxin, we're still seeing the point getting pushed by DCR. Blizzard comes out as well from Final Gambit, and it looks like this might be it as the rest of Volume Zero starts to fall under that freezing cold ray of Final Gambit here. Xavier looking to maybe try and find a shadow.
Oh my!
And he does find value. Immediately gets 3 picks come out. The bomb from Tekio, she's trying to do something to hold out, but it's not going to be enough as Softcat finally goes down on that Tracer, and DCR is able to push it in and come in with what I would say is a pretty commanding lead at this point, 2-0 now.
Yeah, I gotta say, Volume Zero did show some signs of life at certain points in that map, and their Widow strategy did actually end up working out on attack, but it was a clear weakness on defense where it doesn't seem like it was ever getting any value as we see Atomic landing a huge shatter on the enemy team. This Reinhardt performance still just wasn't enough to overcome the compositional difference at the end of the day, though. And you gotta wonder, at what point did somebody say, like, hey, we gotta commit to this Widowmaker? But regardless of that decision, Danger Close Red comes out on top again.
Yeah. Now, do you, based on that last map, do you think, what do you think we might see from Volume Zero in terms of, do you think we might see some substitutions coming in?
I mean, they have 3 people on the bench. That's definitely a possibility. It's mostly just about, like, what they think needs to change both compositionally and strategically going into this next map. Because, again, they have the map choice. They have sort of the full control over what they want to do and what strategy they want to go towards. But I don't think they have a really good answer to Danger Close Red's brawl composition right now. It was the Widowmaker in that last map. It was the symmetric compositions in the previous one, but either way, it still just wasn't enough to overcome how much individual performance is coming through from Danger Close Red. Final Gambit has been doing so much on the DPS role, and Xavier's been holding his own against Atomic, who admittedly had some insane shatters that last map, but it's still just not enough.
It really isn't, and I think we would be remiss if we also didn't mention Paradox. She's been, I think, she's been kind of laying the foundation in a way, as it were, for her team to pop off the way that they have been. Like the windows have just been tremendous, and it looks like most of the time she's able to hold on to her immortality field longer than Awake is on the side of Volume Zero.
Yeah, and you can chalk that up to a multitude of things, right? It could be playstyle in the Brawl v Brawl. It could be the individual hero selection and just like how each player decides to play each fight. But I do want to point out the fact that Dayman has been basically untouchable on his Lucio so far. I haven't really seen him dying first at all, and it's typically been Volume Zero that's been taking more poke damage and losing these members before each fight. And as a result, it seems like Danger Close Red doesn't really have to do a lot. It seems like they've got their work cut out for them overall. So again, Volume Zero needs to change something going into this last map.
Yeah, they really do. They I want to see the Volume Zero that we saw back on Lijiang, right? Because that was a really, really close map. Whatever they were doing, was working on that one. I think they lost one of them, maybe. One of them went, I think, close to 99-0. I forget which one that is, and I forget which side it was. But regardless, Volume Zero was looking on Lijiang, so maybe they want to find a map that plays similar to that one, or has similar similar benefits.
Again, we can only see. Time will tell for sure, but I think we're going to go to a break as we wait here for the map selection.
Yep, so we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will see you all soon. All right, and we are back with Owlet Season 4, Week 3, and we have a map choice that's been made now. It looks like Volume Zero has decided to go with Eichenwalde. So we're going to be heading to the German town where Reinhardt and his what would you call him? His mentor,
Squire.
His squire met his untimely end. And do you think this is a good choice coming in from Volume Zero, Mentus?
You know, Jungle God, I'm not so sure. Again, this is another map where you can sort of get away with playing that broad composition on, the whole way through, and it really comes alive on the third point, which Danger Close Red so far has been able to very easily get to those positions. Huge advantages built almost solely off of differences in composition and playstyle. And Volume Zero is going to have to make some large adjustments, but I do fully expect them to do so. They seem like a capable team. They seem able to sort of assess the situation in the mid-fight and change their direction sometimes. It's just not happening enough for them.
Right, or early enough, I think. Yeah, it seems like they know what they need to do. They're maybe just not reacting as fast as they need to. So if they do that, I think we can see another really, really close match, and maybe even Volume Zero come out on top here.
Yeah, I really want to see Volume Zero manage to get a map win, at least get some momentum going into the rest of the season here. They have yet to actually win a map yet, whereas Danger Close Red has been seemingly untouched in the series so far. And if Volume Zero is able to put up a good fight, it might take DCR out of their comfort zone and start to really get them sweating and worrying about the rest of the series. But they have to win here, or it's lights out for them.
Yeah, this is true. And I know Volume Zero, while they may want their volume at 0, they don't want their lights at 0. So
exactly.
Let's see what they can pull off here. Now, we're just waiting to see if both teams are ready to go in. Looks like one is, but maybe we're seeing a little discussion, or maybe a swap's going to come in on the other side. Oh, no, looks like both teams are ready to go. So we're going to be flying over to Eichenwalde fairly soon, everybody. And just looking at this picture of Eichenwalde, it looks like nice and sunny outside there. And I'm looking out my window today. I live in Colorado, and we just had like a couple of massive rainstorms. So I got to tell you, I would love to be in a place like Eichenwalde instead of where I am today, which is not, it's not typical. I love being here in Colorado, but what's it look like on your neck of the woods, Amentos?
It's hot and sweaty here in Northern California, and I've got every fan and AC running as high as it can right now. But yeah, we're still running at high temperature here, so I kind of envy your position at the moment. But Eichenwalde, in the meantime, will be very sunny and bright on our screens here. Going into this map, I do want to sort of discuss how each individual player has been sort of supporting their team and their success so far. Atomic on the main tank role has been doing so much work in these Brawl v Brawl fights, and I'm not exactly sure what needs to change to sort of support or let the rest of the team follow up this great performance from Atomic, because it seems like it's still not enough. I think we need to see more out of their backline, Awaken Lamosky, to sort of support him in his goal of just dominating Xavier in this Rhine v Rhine duel. We need to see this MTD actually come to fruition and result in something.
We do, absolutely. And I think Tekio, she's doing a lot of work as well on D.Va. We've been talking a lot about the bombs that were coming out from the side of DCR, but Tekio is really showing her worth as well, I think, on the line, on the side of Volume Zero. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have a change coming in on the side of DCR.
Yeah, we had Saucer playing the D.Va role previously, and now Mornitron has decided to come in and start playing his signature Sigma. It's apparently one of his best heroes in his pool, and it'll be interesting to see how that does end up changing this Brawl dynamic. Final Gambit is back on this Junkrat, though. We gotta watch out for those tires.
Yeah, and we do see Rogue back on the mace, so maybe this is gonna make a little
poke damage already.
Yeah, big poke damage already. Rogue almost goes down. Softcat trying to find some value. The shield, though, of Xavier EXE looking really weak, going all the way down to 56 health.
Oh, no.
Final Gambit, though, finds the pick on Awake, and that's going to open the flood doors. And speaking of the flood doors, there they go. Everybody on the side of Atomic Zero is just getting destroyed at this point from a very...
He already has tire. It's been 30 seconds into this match, and he's going to try to kill everybody on the other team with that tire. It's incredible how much damage he's getting on these rotations. Mornitron is helping to support him and weaken those shields, and look, he's setting up for a flank with his tire here.
Yeah, he is ready to go. It looks like, it looks like we're just gonna, here it comes, tire's coming in, and finds the immortality. Awake's able to get it out fast enough, but it doesn't matter because Mornitron is there to clean up. Toxin finds a headshot on Tekio after she's been demeched, and it looks like Softcat, though, is able to find Final Gambit, so that's their carry going down.
Nice.
And it looks like Softcat wins the McCree duel, and I tell you what, this is it looks like we got a fight on our hands here. it looks like Volume Zero might be able to make something happen, especially with these early spawns.
Toxin is trying to set up a high noon in the middle of this fight, and Xavier's being left at the dry. He has to pin away from his own wall, and Atomic is looking to set up a shatter here.
Oh, and he comes in with a shatter from the top rope. There's so much going on point. I can't tell if it found anybody, but it doesn't look like anybody immediately is taken out as a result of it. We've got picks coming in from both sides. Softcat finds Paradox. She goes down, so that's a lot of healing out for the side of DCR, and it looks like that's going to be the difference maker as Softcat pops off and finishes these things off with a headshot, nonetheless, on Dayman. That Lucio, that's not an easy shot to hit. Lucio isn't easy to hit normally, much less a head.
Yeah, Softcat has been doing a lot of work in this sort of McCree mirror here. You saw in the previous engagement where he was able to beat his counterpart Toxin and sort of make that difference coming into the next fight, give his team a fighting chance. But I really got to point out that Final Gambit managed to knock up Atomic's Reinhardt, throw the shield out of the way for Xavier to land a huge shatter, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like I gotta say, I think Rogue swapping to Mei so far looks to me to be the difference maker in this match for Volume Zero. You know, we've got a tire coming in, Immortality's out. Final Gambit finds a massive kill. That is half the team of Volume Zero sent back packing. Volume Zero's got 0 left that they can do to win this fight. And let's see what they can do next one. And fortunately for them, they look like they held on to their ults.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the difference between, you know, Final Gambit's Twin Rat and the counterpart being the Mei on the side of Volume Zero from Rogue, but we haven't really been talking about the difference that this Sigma is able to make compared to the D.Va. You know, D.Va is a lot better at close-range engagements, but on this second point in particular, Mortartron is going to get a ton of value from playing distance.
And look at this Final Gambit coming with Toxin, who gets the kills with a huge high noon. Gets a flashbang off onto Awake, and Final Gambit's able to finish Awake off. And yeah, Volume Zero. Yeah, hope they got
back
something.
in the spawn room once again.
Yeah,
and Danger Close Red seems to have a much better understanding of how tempo is supposed to work with these ultimates. You know, in Brawl v Brawl, typically the team that makes the first move with their ults. Okay, Final Gambit gets another kill on Awake, but as I was saying, these ultimates are getting a ton of value if you're using them first, and that's typically what Danger Close Red has been able to do.
yeah. And Tekio coming up with a couple big kills. That takes out Xavier and Final Gambit. Although Paradox, she's able to she's trying to get something going for the side of DCR. The solo carry on point, nope, not gonna happen. Although it looks like Dayman gets a boop off on Lamoski, and Dayman's actually picking up the slack here this time. But it looks like Rogue's finally gonna come in with a kill on Dayman. Softcat finishes off Mornatron with a headshot. And Volume Zero is going to get to push the cart. I think they were seeing them wake up a little bit.
It might have looked like Danger Close Red had that one in the bag with the pick onto Awake, but because the fight got stalled up for so long and they continued to keep fighting, they were able to equalize and then come back quicker with a closer respawn. And that was what made the difference in that fight.
Danger Close Red deciding to try and set up high ground, and Dayman almost gets a boop there on to Tekio, but fortunately Tekio still had the boosters. Final Gambit tried to find value with the tire and does it again. The patience from Final Gambit to wait for just the right moment is incredible. And we see Atomic saying, nope, I'm out of here. And they decide to just jump off the map and reset, which is probably a good move here with a minute left on the clock.
Final Gambit actually placed his tire in the corner to bait out the fire strike from Atomic, as Mornatron already opens up this next fight with a signal ultimate. But Xavier sets it up with the shatter as well to knock everybody down. Nice pick from Softcat.
Nice pick from Softcat. Tries to catch something with the Deadeye when Monotron lifted him up, but didn't find anything, but that's okay because they found it on the way down. Looks like Atomic's going to try and find a shatter here. Can they find an opening? Doesn't look like they even necessarily need to, as the Blizzard from Rogue takes out the rest of DCR.
As I was talking about earlier, DCR was definitely the team that was ulting first in a lot of these engagements, and the moment you see Volume Zero come back with some of their ults first in the fight, it just gets so much more value. This Mei in particular prevents anybody from contesting on cart while that Mei ult is active, negating all of the other aggressive ultimates that DCR had to throw at them. So coming into this last fight, I think Volume Zero has a massive advantage here. Look at all these space creating and space capitalizing ultimates, the D.Va Bomb, the Shatter, the Window. If they get these ults out first, they're going to win this fight.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Diva Bomb, here it comes. Is it going to catch him?
Already got a kill.
It gets Dayman. That's big. That takes out the speed from the Rush Comp. They're not going to be able to chase anybody down. Soft Chem Cat comes out with a pick on Xavier. Awake, firing damage and healing through that window. Trying to, keep pushing back DCR. And it looks like if DCR is going to stop this cart, they're going to have to do it fast. We may see some swaps come in, I think, for some stall characters. No, never mind. They're just not going to be able to touch. And this is fantastic. Really looks like Volume 0. They've turned up the dial to maybe Volume 3 or 4 or 5.
We might even get to see Volume 11 here. We might break the scale. The way they're playing right now is a lot better.
It is.
You know, we saw them coming into second point, kind of struggling out of the block a lot of the time. People would get picked on these rotations. People would get ulted first, and they wouldn't really have a chance to respond. And, you know, the moment they start to get the foothold, rotating into the latter half of the second point, they actually start to pop these ultimates first and maintain that space advantage. It's really good to see them adapting over the course of the game. Even though it is still just the same two compositions fighting one another, they're changing their playstyle, and it's having some great results.
It looked like they really kept all the momentum that they built from, like, pretty much second, like, halfway through second point. They kept that momentum all the way through to the cap. I mean, when they were coming into last fight, actually, right, on second point with just about 1:16 left, actually, in the time bank on second point. So they were able to, really capitalize on that momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Rogue swapping off of the Widowmaker in the previous maps, maintaining this Mei the whole way through, I think it's giving them that amount of stability on the front line that they need to have Atomic start to make this difference matter. You know, he has been landing some massive shatters, and in response, Xavier has been landing some big ones of his own, setting it up for Final Gambit on the Junkrat. But it's still not enough when you have the Mei that just is better over time. You know, it's a lot more consistent. You can stay on that card. You can support your Reinhardt for longer, and you don't have to just rely on getting all this quote-unquote lucky damage, right, from the Junkrat. But now, we're finally seeing the mirror, and Mornatron is staying on his signature signal.
Yep, and we see Danger Close Red making a very fast rotation. Volume 0 electing to play this pretty far back. Wall comes out, Xavier trying to get a charge, trying to find somebody with it, but doesn't get anyone. Meanwhile, Final Gambit on that Mei, already getting value again, taking out Softcat, so that's some damage out of the way for Volume 0. That means Xavier is going to have a lot less to worry about in terms of his shield, although Atomic gets a nice pin on him and almost drops him down to 0. Mornatrons has to pop their,
nice shatter.
Shatter coming in. Doesn't look like he catches anybody, but what about that Fire Strike from Atomic? Absolutely massive. Charges into the wall. Actually, I'm not entirely sure why. But Softcat is able to find a headshot on Final Gambit and send the rest of them packing again.
Volume
back
0,
to spot.
they did lose somebody early on in that fight, but they were able to sort of maintain the status quo and sort of hold that same position without having to give up too much space. And as a result, they're able to respond with some key ultimates, namely Atomic Shatter. So Awake, I want to see Awake pop that window as quickly as possible here to hold all this space and really punish the Sigma.
Yeah, we see Maywell's coming out from both sides. It looks like Atomic gets frozen. Big beat from Lamoski. That's going to cause Volume 0 to have to back out. And it looks like Final Gambit gets a lot of value from that window. And I think we might see first point going over finally to the side of DCR. Yeah, it looks like it. They're going to clean up the rest of Volume 0 and get this cart rolling.
Volume 0 expected themselves to win that fight with simply just the beat, but as a result, DCR recognizes that this is a weakness, and they just commit more ultimates into that fight and end up winning because of it. I do have to note that Volume 0 did stack both of those defensive resources, the lamp and the beat together, and as a result, they weren't able to stay in that fight for long enough, and Final Gambit's mail just really punishing them in the end. Yeah,
it really, really was. And we see Atomic deciding to set up high ground to wait for DCR to push the cart, presumably around this corner, and they'll drop on him. Mornatron trying to get a little bit of space, has to use the, what is it called? Not the gravitic flux, but where you suck in everything, you know?
Kinetic grasp.
Kinetic grasp! Has to use the grasp and then back out a little bit. But it doesn't really seem to matter as DCR is just kind of calmly pushing the cart underneath this bridge here. And I imagine we're going to see Atomic drop here pretty soon. Yep, there he goes. Right on the cart. But Final Gambit's there with a wall, trying to catch him out. And it looks like just a lot of nuttiness going on.
Total chaos.
It looks like Volume 0 is winning this, but Toxin's trying to make a case for it, finding a couple picks, but it's not going to be enough as Softcat zones out the rest of DCR with that high noon, and Rogue picks up a kill on Final Gambit.
Volume Zero with a big commit with that Mei wall plus Diva Bomb combo. You can sort of feign how far you want to take it. You send in the Diva Bomb into that wall, then pull it down at the last second, and it can really catch teams by surprise, and that's exactly what happened there. Danger Close Red tried to recommit, but it still wasn't enough, and now they don't really have anything to maintain the status quo here.
Yeah, and Peridot has to pop that Immortality early, but she also drops the wall, although there's a Mei wall coming out, which kind of mitigates some of that value. Wall coming out from Rogue to try and catch them. Yeah, Toxin gets a pick on Softcat.
Ball the shatter.
Big shatter from Xavier, and it looks like he's just gonna use his hammer as a broom to sweep the rest of Volume Zero out of his way.
You know, I do want to mention that once you don't have Diva Bomb in this composition, and the difference between Diva and Sigma really starts to play here, you don't really have a lot of tools to go aggressively if you really want to. You know, you have to sort of absorb the aggression first, because Danger Close Red was able to just drop their window and their shatter and manage to win the fight solely off of that.
High noons coming out from both sides as Volume Zero tries to contest this one time. Yeah, big boom coming in from Dayman on Awake. That's going to be huge. Massive shatter coming in, and it looks like, oh my gosh, no, kills coming in from both sides, but it looks like Danger Close Red might be taking... The beat comes in. That's interesting from Lamosky trying to maybe make something happen here, but I don't know about you. I feel like that was maybe not the right choice there from...
I gotta agree. That was a bit of an overcommit in a fight that was definitely not winnable. But that's okay. You know, you can sort of go back to the drawing board. You still have a lot of time and space to work with on this third point. It's not the end of the world, so to speak. But you do have to play this a lot slower, because you know now that Danger Close Red has more ults than you, and you have to wait it out, charge up those ults over time, and hope that nothing bad happens in the meantime.
Yeah, and if something big comes in from the side of DCR, all they have to really rely on the side of Volume Zero is Awake's Immortality field, and already we see Danger Close Red for putting in a lot of pressure. Stun comes in, Immortality's out for the side of Volume Zero, and now for the side of DCR as well. Danger Close Red finding themselves in danger. Mornitron, though, is able to take out Atomic, the front line of Volume Zero. However, Xavier goes down as well, so this is going to be anybody's fight, I think. Final Gambit trying to find a freeze on Tekio, but Tekio is able to wiggle out of the way. Toxin trying to find some value in the backline of DCR, see if they can make something happen. Immortality comes out again from Awake, and at this point, Awake has actually built a window and 3 ultimates on the side of Volume Zero.
Volume Zero was able to stall out this fight long enough where it doesn't matter if they lost anybody early, they have the immediate respawn there. Oh, nice high noon to respawn, though.
Nice high noon from Toxin, but remember, Final Gambit, I think, went out just before this, so both teams are still even. That is until Atomic has his say with a Fire Strike and a charge, taking out the entire tank line of DCR, so that's big. Now they've got no protection on that front line, so DCR is going to have to back out again.
This is looking really good from Volume Zero. They're able to recognize the fact that they can hold very defensively and slowly, wait for DCR to commit ults that aren't necessarily getting the most value, and then immediately respond with their own. You see Awake dropping that window just to maintain the fight win there, but they still have a lot of resources to work with. They can work around Final Gambit's Mei ultimate. You can Matrix that. Mornitron's coming up with his own Sigma ultimate too, but you have the beat to respond to that too. Oh, that's a big pick though.
And look at this. You've got the same amount of time. You know, at this point, Volume Zero has a better time bank than DCR. And yeah, that first pick, though, coming out on Rogue, that's big. Mornitron and Peridot find a couple of big picks as well, though, so DCR looking like they're finally picking up steam, and I think unless we see, like, the stall characters come out, this is going to go over. Oh, no, we see Mei in the ice block, Final Gambit in the ice block, just trying to hold that point as long as they can, but Xavier's hammer has other plans for him, I think. Tekio is D-Mech, which is no good. Hino comes in, but Toxin is able to pick off Softcat before it's a problem and pop their own to finish this off for DCR, and it looks like they're going to have the cap.
They do manage to get a couple extra seconds off the time bank there, giving themselves the lead guaranteed going into this next phase. But like I said, they tried to play that defensive style, but it wasn't working when you have all these aggressive ultimates you have to deal with. Final Gambit's May ultimate in particular managed to freeze Awake mid-air so that they couldn't lamp on their own fall. And as a result, you can't maintain that numbers advantage. Your healer's taken out of the fight immediately. And in overtime, and these sort of last desperate situations, you need to have a healer to maintain that positioning and keep your tanks alive.
Yeah, you really do.
Xavier was able to very easily just walk all over the rest of the team. The moment Awake is gone, and it's pretty much lights out from there.
Yep. Yeah, Danger Close Red looks like they're in Danger Close Red looks like they're in danger for the first time actually.
Exactly.
This match with Volumes here with a little bit more time on the clock. And with DCR with just a minute, that's, you know, especially they've got a long way to travel before they get to this first point. They probably only get one fight.
Yep, if you are unable to win this first engagement here, you know, you can still try to play for percentage, but it's pretty much a no-go for the rest of the map. And I want to see Volume Zero take a really aggressive defense here. If they can catch Danger Close Red off guard, manage to get a pick before the fight starts in earnest, I think they're going to have a really good chance of full holding.
Yeah, and it looks like we see a mirror comp on both sides this time. So this actually, I think this is the first time we've seen a mirror comp since that first map, since Lead on Tower. And DCR, yeah, Volume Zero is actually opting for the close hold to point. This time. So Maywall comes out. Both Ryans try to charge. Neither of them finds anything. Although Softcat takes out Toxin, so that's big. DCR, if they want another shot at this, they're either going to have to back out now, or they're just going to have to try and push and equalize. But it looks
they're trying to reset.
Yeah, they're trying to reset. It looks like they're going to try and take one more shot at this as Mornitro just decides to jump off the edge.
Very good timing for Mornitron to get out of that fight as quickly as possible and take himself off the map. However, we're coming into this last fight. If Volume Zero can solve this out with their Maywall for the Baptiste window to come online in the middle of the fight, it's going to be a fight win for them. Yeah, and with only 5 seconds left, somebody's going to have to touch. It looks like Dayman's getting booped away. They can't find a way to the point, but it looks like somebody finally does get a foot on the point. Window comes out from Peridot, not from Awake, although Awake is ready to pop theirs too. Can they get it out in time? No, they can't. They can't. Peridot is able to find big picks with that window. That is fantastic, and it looks as if, unless Volume Zero can pull some magic out of their hat, it looks, and Tekio's trying, but it looks like this point is actually going to go over to DCR. As Tom comes out, is it going to catch anybody? No, it doesn't, but does it need to is the question. Final Gambit still fighting value on that May on point, and yeah, looks like going over Volume
to
Zero. They really wanted to win that fight there, and they really tried their hardest, you know, committing those fields in what seemed like an unwinnable situation. And, you know, as a direct result of that, they only have a limited amount of tools to work with to slow this card now. And any progress here is pretty much a bonus from DCR. The longer and further you can get this out, maybe you can buy yourself a second fight if you lose that first one on defense. You need to try to get this as far as you can and start ulting first before Volume Zero can have a chance to respond. But watch both of these May ults. If one gets value and the other doesn't, it's going to mean that they win the fight.
All right, and we see Volume Zero once again staging on the high ground, looking to find that perfect time to drop.
Atomic drop!
Atomic thinks that time is now. He goes Blizzard in from the side of Rogue, and doesn't catch anybody. Looks like Lamoski's able to get a pick on Toxin, so that's a lot of damage out of the way, as well as Awake finding Peridot. So it looks like Volume Zero is gonna hold here right outside of second point, right in street space of Eichenwald.
They managed to give themselves a chance to try and win this map to stay alive in this series. I'm really surprised that DCR ended up losing that fight, because Mornitron got a massive eat on that May ult. And, you know, like I said, the team that gets better value on their May ult is going to typically win, but I think Volume Zero was just able to sort of disengage, wait for that May ult to expire because they know they can work with that time bank, and then they come back in with that window and start to really put down the pressure. In these sort of overtime fights, things can get extremely chaotic, and it's one of those scenarios where if you can avoid ulting first and sort of just have a better chance to win later on in the fight, you're going to have a higher success chance overall. And I think maybe they didn't intentionally mean to do this, but Volume Zero waited it out for that throughout the duration of that May ultimate, came back in with their window, and just put in the pain, made sure nobody can stay alive on the card.
You know, one thing I want to mention too is that, and it kind of caught me off guard, is that Atomic decided to drop much earlier on the card than he did on their first defense. And I gotta wonder if that wasn't a difference maker too. I mean, it took me by surprise here in the casting booth. I imagine it probably took DCR by surprise as well.
Absolutely. Atomic managing to get a lot of damage down and just put a ton of visual pressure on the enemy team. Like, you see that Reinhardt dropping off the high ropes, and you're like, this guy might just shatter all 6 of us, so you really got to watch out. And I think that made DCR panic and pop all those ultimates immediately.
I think you're right.
As a result, Volume Zero was able to sort of wait it out and then come back in with their own.
They won the mental game that time. All right, Fire Strike coming out early from the side of Xavier to get a little bit of charge. More than a little bit of charge. He's 30%
Oh, he's trapped
already, and yeah, Atomic is trapped by Final Gambit. Look at the actually Final Gambit's catching up in the ult percentage as well. Although Awake on the side of Volume Zero, really building up a pretty big one as well due to all that damage coming in.
Another trap onto Atomic.
Immortality Field comes out on the side of DCR, and it looks like Tekyu's already been de-mech'd by Mornitron, so this isn't looking too great for Volume Zero. Although no picks are coming through yet. And in fact, Volume Zero is able to get the picks off the window of Awake. And yeah, it looks like we've got something happening here. Rogue's able to finish off Final Gambit as well as Mornitron, and looks like this point's going over to them faster than it did even for DCR.
Yeah, they're giving themselves a fighting chance here. They might be able to get 2 fights if they are able to take one really quickly here. However, we have to look at these ults from Danger Close Red. They can clear out this cart in an instant. If Awake's lamp is not on point here, and Volume Zero is not able to deal with this Junkrat tire, it's lights out for them again, and they're not going to be able to win this map.
No, they're not, and maybe Lamosky gets a chance to build up this beat. If they get this beat, that's actually going to be a really big boon for the side of Volume Zero. That gives them a lot more to work with as we see the timer ticking down. And Volume Zero is effectively in the same place. Here comes the timer. It does get value. It finds Awake. That's what they wanted. That's what DCR needed to try and clean this up.
It's over. It's over.
Toxin takes out 2 with a Deadeye. 3 if you count Atomic. And I don't think Volume Zero is going to be able to do anything else to make this work. Xavier swinging his hammer just to make sure nobody else can get there. And we see overtime ticking down. Awake's going to make a last-ditch effort. They jump over the side. They get the immortality out, but it is quickly taken care of by the side of DCR. And even though they're able to send a few people in to try and stagger this point out, I think it's going to go over to DCR. Yep, there it is. So congratulations, Danger Close Red. Big 3-0 victory over the side of Volume Zero.
It's a bit of a sad day for any Volume Zero fans out there, unable to get a single map win to start off their season here. But I do have to say, they have some incredibly talented individual players.
They do.
It just seems like the team was not able to overcome the challenges that Danger Close Red provided them. This Junkrat in particular from Final Gambit was doing so much consistent damage that was unmitigated. It was just almost impossible to sort of get through these chokes unpressured. And these rotations were always getting value from the side of Danger Close Red. They were able to get these picks, charge these ultimates faster. And as a result, when you get these ultimates online first in Brawl, as long as you just send them out, as soon as you get them, you're going to have a really good chance of winning.
Yeah. And, want to take a look at that card, too, that we saw from Final Gambit. I think it was 63% kill participation, 51 elims. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of weight on the shoulders of Final Gambit right there. Although I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't really say that because Danger Close Red, they won this as a team.
Absolutely. And, my initial pick for MVP, you can look at the guy that does a lot of damage, Final Gambit, for example, or Toxin, but I really want to say Peridote's been my MVP for this match. She did so much work on Baptiste with the windows, the lamps being on point, so much healing and sustain throughout the duration of the fight. And I almost never saw her get picked first, which I think is impressive coming from a team at this caliber, right? A Baptiste that's able to stay alive throughout the duration of fights, managing to stay alive and keep that value on their front line, just pumping in the healing over time. It's a really good sign in the Brawl composition. Yeah, so I really wanted to say Peridote's been my MVP for this match.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Peridote as well. I feel like Peridote was the silent carry of this team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't getting the big flashy plays like Final Gambit was, but Final Gambit wouldn't have been able to get those big flashy plays if it weren't for Peridote.
Exactly. I have to agree. And we're going to have an interview coming up with Peridote as well to close out this match. Really looking forward to picking the brain there. So
yeah. And let's see here. Is Peridote ready to go, production? Yeah, sounds like we're gonna get an interview right now.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Get to pick her brain, see how she felt during this match.
And overall, before we go into this interview, I just want to mention, really well done by Volume Zero to try to stay in this match. A lot of teams, they go down 2-0 in those scenarios and they kind of mentally give out or give up. But they were able to hold their own in the last map very well. It came down literally to the wire, to that last golden box of victory there. And, that's a huge point that I want to put a lot of emphasis on.
Yeah, and I also want to say that, if it, I feel like if it weren't for Route 66, right, that was kind of like a blip for Volume Zero, right?
Absolutely.
At least to me, right? The other maps looked much more competitive, and I think it was due to the Rogue swap, right? Like, we're Rogue trying to find value on that Widow.
Yeah, but overall,
if it weren't for Route 66, Volume Zero, I think might have had an even better shot at making this a real close game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have Peridot ready for the interview.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Hi,
Peridot. First off, congratulations on a win against Volume Zero. That was fantastically done, and want to congratulate you as well because we have picked you for the MVP of this match.
Oh, wow! Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You might not have heard it. Amintus and I chatting right before you got here. But to me, you were the silent carry of the team.
Oh.
We saw like, these big Junkrat tires getting tremendous value, but it was you in the back line keeping everybody up, and just as Amintus said, your timing with the windows and the immortality fields, everything you did was just, I'd say by the book and very, very well done. So congratulations on the win and the MVP.
Wow, that's thank you very much. I was definitely having a critical self-judgment, but I'll ignore me and listen to you. So thank you.
You played amazing. You did really, really well. Yeah, so just to start the questions off, so coming into this match as a team, did you have any individual strategies prepared for this match? It seemed like there was a couple things in particular. The Sigma choice, the Junkrat, obviously. Was there anything in particular you focused Volume Zero with?
I mean, we came into this knowing that they play a bit like us with the same kind of rush brawl. So it was we knew that we just had to brawl harder, I guess, and that's it's what we do. It's we're danger close.
There you go.
Exactly. So now you are looking at a 3-0 record right now.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I imagine that comes with a little bit of pressure too, right? To kind of like live up to this. How do you all feel going into your next match? Have you taken a look forward to see who you're facing next?
As someone else did, we really only kind of 1 week at a time. Don't worry too much about what's too far down the line, but it's I hadn't thought about I was like, oh yeah, it was 3-0. This was our first 3-0 for a series.
That's exciting.
This was our first 3-0. Yeah. So that's what I thought you were talking about first. I didn't even thought about it was 3-0 for matches in general.
Yeah. Y'all are looking pretty hot right now. Yeah. I think taking a look at the standings here. Let me pull those up real quick. It's it's you, Team Growloo, and Paradise Tempest sitting at the top here. So that's you got some good company up there.
Yeah. It'll be exciting when we get to play them.
Absolutely.
So for my next question, I just want to ask you individually something. This kind of league in particular is centered around player development and improving over time. What's something that you've particularly been focusing on for yourself to work on in these matches? And were you able to sort of improve on that and show it in the game today?
So before this season, I didn't play map at all.
Really?
So
I couldn't tell from the game.
So that's we've firmed up our who's doing what support role. Me and Paradroid have sorted out who's kind of doing what, and so he's normally our go-to BAP. And I used to be the one who'd do Lucio so much. So it's actually really nice trading it up because I feel like I have more of the discipline from saving beat to know to save my IMO.
Right.
I think that's a nice transferable skill. So
it's
good.
That's something I noticed in your gameplay as well. You actually were able to hold your lamp in those scenarios where it was sort of a 50-50. You didn't know whether or not your front line was going to go down, but a direct result of that is your front line's able to stay up there for longer and get more value over time. And then you can just throw that lamp in on the corner, make sure you stay up there, and
Yeah.
more often than not, Xavier would just lay down the shatter immediately after, which is something I really wanted to congratulate just your whole team in general on having a great game.
Yeah, they all did great. They were all wonderful. It's we've been together for a while, and yeah, it's very nice that everyone played their best.
Yeah, absolutely. This was really a team win, and we can, over here, we really saw the synergy between all of you, I think, on your team.
Mhm.
And, I think that was a difference maker too, is you all just looked like you played together very, very well as one cohesive, terrifying and dangerous unit. So
Yeah, it's we just have to sort of remind each other, like, have we done this? And like, yes, we have. Let's do this. So it's
yep. Well, you certainly did it today. And before we close things out, Amintus, do you have any last questions for Peridot?
I just wanted to ask if there's anybody on your team you wanted to shout out, whether it came to preparation or just performance, something funny they said.
All of them. I guess Morn is always the best go-to shout out because he organizes it all. He's our team captain. I help a bit, but it's he keeps all of us animals together, so it keeps us in line, herds the cats, which is not an easy job. So
Good to hear.
special love to Morn.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in for an interview. We're going to close out this show. Thank you all so much for joining us. Once again, this has been Owlet. Fantastic match, Volume 0 versus DCR, Danger Close Red. Any final words for the audience, Amintus?
I gotta say, Danger Close Red is definitely a team to watch coming into these next few games. They've faced a lot of adversity in teams that have been just as good, or maybe even better in some cases than them, but still able to come out on top in all of these matches so far. Definitely the team to watch going into the rest of the season. But other than that, I'm just really glad I got to cast a great game again.
Yeah, same here. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Once again, my name is Juggle God.
I'm Amintus.
And GG's, and see you next time.
You never talked about it, said you had to leave. It was over within minutes and I couldn't speak. Like that you're gone, something went wrong. Choked up, you made me feel so small.